So this is the 1080 from New Balance. It's one of their plushest, most cushioned shoes that they carry. It's part of the neutral range, and this colourway that you can see here with the awesome kind of Run London logo on was specifically made for London Marathon. So I'm going to talk you through it, and some of the key features and specs, and maybe why it's a great shoe for you. So first things first, always start with the upper. So looking through the upper here, you can see really kind of quite nice and smooth in terms of the materials and where they're contacting. So through the midfoot, you've got a little bit of kind of reinforcement caging around these areas here. It's perfect positioning actually, because for those with bunions, it sits kind of just behind where the first met is going to be, so shouldn't put any extra pressures on those joints. As with a lot of New Balance shoes, pretty nice and wide through that forefoot area, so no extra constrictions, and also quite a nice wide square toe box, so it doesn't kind of cramp in the toes too much at all. Jumping in through to the midfoot, there's one liner that goes around the whole foot, and in terms of the back of the heel, wide-ish. I'm not saying it's a wide heel, but I say in relation to like your Asics and your Brooks, it's a little bit wider, but for me, I still felt it held me really, really nicely through here. Cuts nice and low under the ankles, so for those with ankle bones that sit super high, you're not going to get any irritation from the inside area of that shoe there. Now we flip into the midsole. So what's really interesting is that New Balance use a technology called Aramis. Aramis technology basically looks at pressure points when the foot is splaying and contacting the ground as you run. So New Balance use that technology to, one, make the uppers of their shoes, but also to help with the midsole, so to decide where you're going to have the higher areas of wear and where they need to reinforce the areas slightly more. So their midsole, they use their Fresh Foam, which is kind of a combination of convex and concave hexagonal shapes to help shock absorb in certain areas. So you can see on the lateral side here we have concave, and on the medial side we have convex, or wait, it might be the other way around. You know what I mean. The midsole is really cushioned, but also kind of firm at the same time. So again, I always talk about responsiveness of shoes. Great responsiveness shoe you've got here. Now I flip onto the outsole. Again, kind of using that Aramis system, they've just kind of got extra webbing, extra grip zones around the kind of first met area. And you can almost see it looks a bit like a sort of foot scanned foot as it's running, which is pretty cool. Overall, this shoe is nice and flexible to a degree. Obviously, it's got a bit more stiffness because it is a plusher shoe. So you're looking at the shoe comparing to your Vomero from Nike, your Nimbus from New Balance, your Nimbus from Asics even, and things like the Glycerin from Brooks. For me, shape-wise, a lot wider. The shoe, I believe, also comes in a 2E width in the men, so for those wider feet, really, really a great shout for you to try. Overall would take me definitely a distance, possibly even take me marathon distance. It would feel really comfortable the whole way. So if you haven't tried it, New Balance 1080.